which is my 4th episode now. And this is going to be my normal shirt for videos, keep things elegant. And we're going to be reviewing, again, the book of Joseph, like I mentioned last video. Now we're going to be talking about how Joseph went through torment now, of, how his life's been going through after he was sold off, like we talked about in last episode, how he was just sold off to his brothers and no one actually cared, except his father. His father mourned many days. But he sold it, his brothers sold him off, got his tunic of many colors, dunked it in goat blood, and gave it to his father. I honestly thought goat blood smelled different than human blood, but I guess his father didn't notice. Back then, they didn't have DNA tests, of course. Can we go to Genesis chapter 39? This video, mostly this whole series is only for only people my age, teenagers or people of young age, mostly going through some type of issue in their life and trying to find I should be honoring God, or trying to figure out something to find meaning in their life, or they already know and they already felt God but don't know anyone who's found good episodic videos, or I'm not saying mine are good or anything, but I'm just saying. Now we go to Genesis chapter 39, verse 1. Now Joseph has been brought down to Egypt to Potiphar, an officer, Pharaoh and captain of the guard, and an Egyptian had brought him from the Ishmaelites who has bought him down there. The Lord was with Joseph and became a successful man. He was in the house of an Egyptian master. His master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord caused all that he did to succeed in his hands. So Joseph found the favor in his sight and attended him. And he made him an overseer of his house and put him in charge of all that he had. So as we can see, he may be sold off. Now he's a slave to his master, which is a guard named Potiphar. Spanish, it sounds a bit better, 45, but English. But as we can see here from the translations from many years ago, that let's say his name, let's say Joseph, he became very successful in his life, even though he's been through a terrible childhood, being sold off as a slave and being only sold for 20 shekels. Get the reference. So now, after he became successful, he became the overseer of all the possessions of the guard, Potiphar. Now to chapter 39, 3. His master saw that the Lord was with him, and the Lord caused all that he did succeeded in his hands. That was 3. So Joseph found favor in his sight, and he attended him, and made him the overseer of the house of that all he had. Number 4. Number 5. From all the time that he made him overseer, his house all over he had, the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sakes. The blessing of the Lord was all that he had in the house of the field. So he left, and he had Joseph's charge, and became of him. He had no concern about anything about the food he ate. Now Joseph was handsome, form and appearance. As we can see, he actually became very successful in his life, and now he's, pretty much like a co-pilot for the guard. Number 7, Genesis chapter 39, 7. At the time, his wife cast her eyes on Joseph and said, "Lie with me." because he refused and said to his master's wife, "Behold, of me master has no concern about anything in the house. He has put everything in my charge. He is not greater than the house that I am, and kept back anything except you, because you are his wife. And now then, can I do this great wickedness, sin against God?" And Joseph spoke. Joseph, after day, that he would not listen to her, lie beside her, or be with her. But one day he went to the house to do his work, and none of the men of the house was there in the house. Number 12. She caught him by his garment and said, "Lie with me." But he left he left his garment in her hand and fled out of the house. As we can see, Joseph has been going through his second most hard decision, as well, not decision, act. As we can see now, he's following the word of God and actually not lying with, his master's wife, or not lying, before being married, um, for YouTube's sake. Now we're going to be seeing that he actually followed the Ten Commandments, which I said like a few episodes ago. Now we can see that even though even though it was actually the wife, later on we're going to see that the wife will blame Joseph and will send him to jail. Genesis chapter 39, 13. And soon she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and fled the house. And she called the men of her house and said, "See, he is brought among the Hebrews to laugh at us. He came to lie with me and cried out with a loud voice. And soon he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried out. He left his garment beside me and fled and got out of the house." Then she laid up his garment until his master came home. And she told them the same story. "The Hebrew servant whom you brought among us came in to laugh at me. But as soon as I lifted my voice and cried that he left his garment beside me and left out of the house." These are quotes from the Potiphar's wife. Genesis chapter 39:20. And Joseph's mother took him and put him into prison, in the place where king's prisoners were confined, and he was there in prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him the steadfast love and gave him favor in sight of the keeper of prison. The keeper of prison put out Joseph's and all charges of all the prisoners who were there in prison. Whatever was done there, he was the one who did it. The keeper of the prison paid no attention of anything with Joseph's charge, because the Lord was with him, and he did. The Lord made him succeed. As we can see, even in prison, God actually helped him. God actually helped Joseph to be maintaining the prison himself. As we can see that he went through, being sold as a slave, false charges of lying with someone, and now he's been thrown into prison. But God is actually with him and will save Joseph from lots of torture in the future. Well, that's this episode. Please put a like, subscribe. Please do whatever you need to. Maybe ring the bell if you want to. And we'll see you in the next episode. 9 minutes.